You cannot look at any social media platform, whether it be the older ones like Facebook, all the way to the new ones like TikTok, and everything in between, YouTube and Instagram, without seeing a black woman complaining about what black men haven't built. And I saw a post today where a woman put up that statement saying Mexican men build houses and whatnot. And then it took a Mexican dude to go underneath her post and say, we see black men building a lot of things. We work with black men, they work hard. Please don't compare us to what black men do. And, it just reminds me that, all throughout the 1980s, throughout the 1970s, 90s, every time you turn the television on, there was black women complaining about what black men aren't doing, what we haven't done, what we haven't built. And at some point, when you start pointing a finger at one person, you can expect two fingers to be pointed back at you. And I look at the situation with this Turkish woman who's in Germany. Her name is Soraya Brooks. And she goes in heavy on black American women. This woman is married to a black man, and I guess they live in Germany, and she spent some time living with him here in the United States. And she knows, based on her experience, that the things that she saw black women doing in that household wasn't kosher. And, so there's a lot of information out there about what black women do and what black women don't do. But the bottom line is black women have spent years and decades just putting black men's business out there in the street. You just spent, it's like every other word out of who we're dating, what we're like in the bedroom, what we're not like in the bedroom, what we like to eat, what we don't like to eat, what our sexual habits are, how many kids we may or may not have, what our voting preferences are. Y'all just put all of our information out there in the street. And so now you got all these women in the world who are now putting your information out there in the street. This woman, Soraya Brooks, was so cold, she just literally roasted the whole sisterhood. When she started saying, you were saying white women want BBLs so they can look like black women, but what about that hair that you have attached to your head to try to look like a white woman, or that the skin color that you try to get by using bleach or our skin color? And it's just embarrassing. But the truth is, when you put black men's business out there in the street, when you put your own business out there in the street, you have to expect that other people will then get in your business. And you don't want other people in your business, but you constantly putting your business vis-a-vis black men's business out there in the street. And now you don't like the fact that people are coming after you. Why you all in the black? Look, man, I'm sick and tired of it. And here's another thing. Mexican men, white men, African men, Asian men, we know each other. Men understand what's going on with men and women's relationships. You don't think Mexican men and black men know each other and we live in the same neighborhoods, mostly interacting in the same communities? You don't think Asian men know what black men are dealing with when it comes to black women? You don't think they see for themselves? You're not fooling anybody. In fact, the more you talk bad about black men, the more men from other races recognize that they should feel empathy for us, and that they should be as far away from the typical black woman who's inundated with this crazy feminist, matriarchal mindset as they can be. We know each other. We play football with each other. We play other sports with each other, and we work together. We work whether it's outdoors, whether it's office jobs. We go to school together. We know each other. So what do you think you're doing when you start trying to compare or get black men, or get try to put down black men by uplifting another group of men? Those men don't respect you. Nobody likes a sellout. Nobody likes a traitor to their race. One of the words I tell white chicks all the time, like, look, Don't go putting down your white father and your white brothers and your white uncles and the white men in your family talking about, oh, I only date black men. That's not a flex. That means you a sellout. And even if you do date outside of your race, whether it's a black man or not, don't be one of these women who are putting down your own group of men. Those are your fathers. Those are your brothers. How can I respect you and you don't even respect your own white father or Hispanic father? That's not cool. Your preference is your preference. You're entitled to that. But if you the type of woman, whatever race you are, and you feel compelled to put down your own race just because you have a preference, you as bad as these black chicks out here these days. Nobody likes a sellout. Men like loyalty. They'll take an ugly chick who is feminine and cooperative and loyal over a bad chick that they can't trust. Because we already know that outcome. But the main thing is, stop trying to pit men against each other. And for you fellas out there, don't let these women gas your ego up. You got a white girl who said, oh yeah, I only date black men. I don't mess with white men. And she white as the driven snow. You look foolish. And some men will play into that. That'll make their, trying to assuage, the word is assuage or assuage, their ego. Trying to make you feel better about yourself. That's not a flex. Any woman that talks bad about her own group of men and uplifts another race of men just in GP, she's a traitor, man. And you fellas need to stop falling into that trap. There's nothing cool about that. And same thing goes for black women. You constantly putting down black men, telling us what we haven't built. Is that all of us? You don't think Robert F. Smith has built something? You don't think Denzel Washington has built something? A brilliant acting career, and as far as Robert F. Smith, a finance empire? What about all those great inventors and all those great minds? You don't think W.E.B. Du Bois? You don't think Dr. Martin Luther King? You don't think they built something? They helped build Brother Malcolm X. You don't think they helped build a political climate that allow us to achieve what we have now, or at least as far as rights and civil rights? You don't think the Honorable Brother Thurgood Marshall, first Supreme Court Justice of the United States, a black man, or first black Supreme Court judge, you don't think he built a stellar legal career, which catapulted him to the highest judiciary in the land? You don't think that? What about Barack Obama? You don't think he built a stellar career as an activist and politician that compelled him to the presidency of the United States of America? What are you talking about? What about all the plumbers and truck drivers and all these black men out here in the military serving and risking their life every day? You don't think they built anything? You don't think they built up good faith in the community and respect? That's just foolish. What are you talking about? I mean, you have black men who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are teachers, occupying all of the blue-collar fields and excelling in math and science and engineering. We haven't built anything. You just sound stupid because these other men and these other people from these other ethnicities recognize what we've built. Many of them pattern themselves after. What about people like Michael Jordan? Built a magnificent career as a basketball player. And all the other athletes, they haven't built anything? That's just ridiculous. And the main thing is, every time you throw shade at black men, in reality, you throw it out there at them, and people are looking at you because they like, you stupid, and you're a woman from this race? You look like a sellout. And unfortunately, many of our black American women have become sellouts. You are so dissatisfied with yourself. When you see a black man happy and doing well, you got to try to tear him down. And the cold thing about it is the whole world sees what you're doing. Because as far as men go on the global stage, black men are some of the coolest, easy to get along with, most friendly, egalitarian group of men on the planet. We don't try to oppress our women. Nobody is doing, they're not throwing you off of buildings like they do over in the Middle East when you cheat on them. We not tripping on people's lifestyles, whatever they like. Some of these other places under some of these countries, we have been dealt a bad hand oftentimes in this country, and we still haven't rebelled. In fact, we're some of the most patriotic people, typically first ones to stand up to fight in these wars. When America goes to war, black men. That's why we're overrepresented in the military, even on the police force. As bigoted and biased as the judicial system has been to us and the enforcement arm of the judicial system, the police officers, we still are overrepresented as police officers. And so that helps you understand the tolerance that black men have. We're some of the coolest people on the planet as far as men go. Some of the easiest to get along with, some of the most egalitarian group of men. And yet we got women who are constantly trying to tell us what we ain't, what we haven't done, how we're unworthy to even carry the title of man and father. And you're doing it for the public to see. And you wonder why people are now dragging black women through the mud. Because you started, you keep picking fights with folks, you keep putting our business out there, and then you wonder why people are coming after you. And you made the biggest mistake when the brothers start traveling overseas. Shout out to the passport bros. When the brothers start traveling overseas, you messed around and start talking bad about foreign women. You start trying to convince foreign women what black men weren't, and then when that didn't work, you start trying to down all foreign women. You are not gonna win a fight against the world, and now you see them coming after you because you put your business out there in the street. They know all your info. They know about your weaves. They know about your BBLs. They know about how you smell between your legs. They know about your abortion rate. They know all of that. And so now they're using that as ammunition against you. The best thing black American women can do right now is shut up. You are not the generation that came before us. You are not the Rosa Parks generation. You're not the Betty Shabazz generation. You're not the Coretta Scott King generation. You're not. You're not even the Patti LaBelle generation, Mahalia Jackson generation. You the generation of sexy reds. That's what you are. You the sexy red generation. Speaking of which. You don't even have any grounds to talk bad about anybody as a group until you begin to check the people in your group that's dragging all y'all down. You don't have any room to talk to anybody about what they don't have, especially men, especially trying to drag us down in front of other men who see you performing. They see how you behave at Walmart, fighting each other. They see how you behave in public, loud talking, being disrespectful to your own men, emasculating your own sons, calling them BITC, you know what's, telling them they ain't shit. You got the reputation for being some of the worst maternal figures in the whole country right now. And that used to not be the situation, but now it is. And you got the nerve to try to talk bad about black men who, according to the CDC and the scientists, have the best reputation for fatherhood. The most involved fathers, which has been the saving grace of the black community for the past 20 years. Imagine where we would be if we had ain't shit moms and ain't shit dads. But thank God we got positive black men out there who are trying to put the time in to raise their kid. I know y'all don't like hearing what I'm saying. I don't even care at this point. At this point, it don't matter because y'all keep trying to talk bad about black men. And when you talk about one black man, well, you don't just say this individual person hadn't built any. You say all black men, all of us. So that's a direct attack to me too, because I'm a black man, and every other positive, productive black man gets dragged in there with the Pookie and the Ray Rays that you decide to deal with, that didn't build anything for you, didn't build their legacy up. So we get dragged in with the derelicts and the lowlifes and the scumbags. And I'm not taking it. On behalf of all the productive black men in America and throughout the world, we're not going to allow you to continue to drag our reputation down into the mud. Not without pushback, not without say-so. It's not right. It's not going to happen. You point the finger at us, we're going to point the finger back at you. And you see what's happening now. The rest of the world looks at black women constantly, recklessly talking trash about black men. And they're like, nah, what about you, sis? What about what you out here doing and not doing? They don't want to get into that mess, like I said earlier. You had a black woman try to destroy the character of black men by saying, well, white men do this and Hispanic men do that and Asian men do that. Mexican dude came in and said, nah, don't drag us in that mess. We don't have nothing to do with that. Matter of fact, that's y'all business. Y'all keep that amongst yourselves. But just to set the record straight, we see black men working and building and driving trucks and being plumbers and electricians and doctors and lawyers and presidents. We see that. So what are you even talking about? What do black men build? They build a lot. Matter of fact, we built this country that you're in right now. We built the pyramids. We built the Sphinx. We built many of those ancient civilizations in Timbuktu. We built all these countries in Africa. Those are black men building that. So what are you talking about? Which is sad, sorry selves. You study talking bad about us and you not looking in the mirror. And again, you dragging all of us down. You're not just saying the unproductive black men, you throwing all of us in the pot. Every last one of us, the famous actors, the famous ball players, the famous authors, the famous statesmen, the famous businessmen, the lawyers, the doctors. Don't put all us in that. That's your experience. You hooked up with some sucker and had a bad experience, or you got relatives that made bad choices, and now you dealing with the consequences. So you want to drag all black men? They ain't got nothing to do with us, man. The generations that came before us, they sucked it up, they dealt with it. That's just women talk. We not dealing with it because that same reputation that you're trying to impose on, number one, is false. Number two, the rest of the world looks at that and say, well, golly, maybe there's some truth to that. And it makes them not want to deal with us. So you're undermining our ability to have a good reputation, not just in the community, but in business, in social circles. We got to go out and undo everything you've done. Because the media takes these negative portrayals put forth by black women about black men, and they just take it and run with it. And so you see it all in television programming. You see it all in movies and songs, as if we're the ghetto ratchet, uncouth ones, when in reality, over 60% of black men reach the middle class by the time they hit middle age. Black men are traveling. Black men are overrepresented in college, the military, and so many other places. And underrepresented. And at this point, we got more black men in irrespective of being targeted by the judicial system. We have more black men in college than we do in prison, knowing how easy it is for a black man to go to jail. Weed charges and child support. Especially considering the biggest snitches of black men are black women. Still, he got a warrant. Now he in jail. Oh, he got weed on him. Now he in jail. He got a stash spot at the house. Now he in jail. And you benefiting from the money he make through those illegal transactions. Or if he's a legal, lawful brother, oh, he hit me. Now he got to go to court because of your false DV charge. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. Somebody type truth in the chat room. Truth hurts. But as I said before, you point one finger at somebody, two, you point a finger at somebody, you got two point back at you. And right now the world is looking at you ladies. Keep your mouth shut. Stop talking bad about black men. Stop putting our business out there in the street. If you want to talk about yourself, you go ahead and talk about yourself. But leave us out of it. You've already proven, you've already explained to the world how we're unworthy and you don't want us. Okay, great. Just leave us alone. Let us go date whoever we gonna date. Let us travel where we want to travel. And y'all mind and stop asking us for our vote also. Since you don't want to have anything to do. Since we so unworthy, stop asking us to vote with the same as the block vote that you ladies vote with. Since we're so unworthy. Since you don't need us for anything. Stop asking us to help you take care of those children that you had by Pookie and Ray Ray. Stop asking us productive brothers to come back into the community and rebuild it after you and Pookie and Ray Ray and all the other degenerates have destroyed it. Stop asking us to help raise your kids or correct them at the point where they become so run amok that they own a train wreck, either headed to jail or hell. Stop it. Since you don't need us. Fine, you don't need us. You've convinced the world since the 1980s that you don't need black men. Go ahead and stand on that. Stand on business. That's what you say, stand on business. Somebody type stand on business in the chat room. Stand on business. We agree. Now that you're getting evicted at the highest rate ever, you coming up homeless at the highest rate ever, go ahead and make it out there on your own. You don't need a man. You talked about your man so bad. You don't need a man. You might need God because the government is not going to help you anymore. So you better start praying to Jesus. But you don't need us. You've proven that. We ain't nothing. We the scum of the earth. We deadbeat daddies. We don't have jobs. We don't build nothing. Well, why you still talking about us then? Why don't you let us go on and be with the women who want to be with us? Let us go be with Ling Ling, Maria, Becky, and whoever else wants to be with you. Leave us alone then. Keep our names out your mouth. Because see, for decades, black men had no retort, no response to the negative things that black women were saying about black women were saying about black men. Y'all would say bad things about us on shows like Oprah Winfrey and Sally Jesse Raphael and Phil Donahue, and we would sing love songs to you. At the height of when y'all were talking reckless about black men, you got people like Tupac Shakur saying, even if she was a crack fiend, she's still a black queen. You calling us dogs and we calling you queens in our music and our other representation. It's a wrap. We believe you. That was a different generation. It's a whole new different generation. It's a new generation in charge. And let me tell you something. The generation in charge is the X generation. We are in our 40s and 50s. We are at the age of wisdom. We are the ones who are taking. It's not a whole lot of us, but we've been the most dynamic generation. I will certainly agree. We invented everything that's cool right about now. From rap music to breakdancing, we did that. The whole culture. And the thing about my generation, we know you, ladies, because we were raised by the same women that raised you, and we know where it came from, and we see it, and we saw it, and we understand it. So it's no hiding from us. We're one of the first generations who were raised by a bunch of single mothers. We saw your behavior. We know about the weed smoke, the men coming in and out the house, the welfare checks, the Section 8, the fraud, the money you was taking from the dope boys, the money you was taking from the gangbangers. We know about you dropping the kids off at grandma's house on a Friday and not coming back till a Sunday night. We know about that. Leaving us in the house hours and hours alone at a time, little kids. We know what you did. We know who raised you. But we never said anything about that. Black men have been quiet. We hadn't even said anything about that. But all the while we were uplifting black women and looking at queens and trying to rebuild the community, you steady talking bad about us. And at this point, it's like, you know what? I'm not about to go back and forth with a bunch of women. Y'all just keep our names out your mouth. And that's the best thing for you to do, because now you got women from other ethnicities, other races, other nationalities. You picked a fight with them, and now they roasting y'all. And you steady trying to get other men to fight against us to say, yeah, that's right, we're better than those black dudes. You trying to get the Mexican man to come against us? They know who we are. They know who we are, from the penitentiaries to the football fields and the basketball fields. They know who we are. From the trucking routes to the construction yards. They know who we are. White man knows who we are. And because he knows who we are, that's why we still here. The Asian man knows who we are. We know we know each other. Men know each other. We understand each other. We understand each other's strengths, weaknesses. We understand each other's story. America is a big melting pot. We know each other. And you trying to get them fired up to come put us down because you can't deal with us. So you trying to get another group of men to come attack your group of men. That's traitorous, straight up. Anytime you trying to convince another group of men that they need to come attack black men based on what black men, you say black men are doing, that is still an attack. That's traitorous. You traitorous right there. And nobody respects that. Nobody is going to respect you as a woman, as a person. That's just too much disloyalty. And for you women who decide you're dating out, and you in there talking reckless about black men and I'm dating you, Todd, because you're so much better. Chad. Oh man, I hate those black. You black. You black as midnight talk about other black people. They don't have respect for you. Nobody respects somebody that disrespects their own people, even if you are dating out, even if you are dating an ethnicity. Obviously, you look like a fool. And more importantly, you're a traitor. But, what you're going to see happening now is you just basically going to see the whole world that these ladies of ours, black women, have been attacking. You're going to see you attacking these people. Black men can't protect you. You study talking bad about all these other ethnicities. You think you could do whatever you want to do. You think you can commit crimes. You out there fighting and shooting and cutting up and acting a fool. Black men can't protect you. That's why I tell the brothers all the time, are you ready to step over the bodies? And when I'm talking about bodies, I'm talking about the people that's going to be falling to the wayside, because there's nothing we can do to save you, because you won't listen. You won't take good advice. You won't listen. You're hard-headed. You're disrespectful. At some point, every man, as much as black men have loved and tolerated black women, the only group of men on the planet that have to deal with these type of women, as much as it's over. As far as most black men are concerned, it's over now. You got a few brothers who are holding out, but they gonna die off. These young boys ain't going for it. They got zero tolerance. There's too many other women around that they can deal with, that can lure them away and give them some semblance of a peaceful life with a woman that wants to have their children and treat them with respect. They done. Nobody's dealing with that anymore. You're not willing to compete for these black men, even the productive black men you don't want to compete for. In fact, you want the low-life Pookie and Ray Ray types. They're compromised so you can tell them what to do. They can't speak up. You're going to put them out the house. They living with you. They're compromised. They got criminal records. So what does that mean? That means you got control over them. Compromised men. You like that. You don't want a man of high value. Everybody talking about they want a high value black man. No, you don't. He's going to put some structure and some control on you. He's going to put some boundaries and some restrictions on you. And you don't want to adhere to that. You want a bed buck. You want a couch surfer. You want a man you can tell what to do. You want a compromised man. And that's who you talk. That's part of your problem. That's your main problem. And you end up with those experiences to come from that, and then you turn around and lash out at all black men and just throw all of us under the bus. And now the world is beginning to turn on you. And there's really nothing black men could do about it. Fellas, you're going to have to step over the bodies and say you can't save them. And they too hard-headed to listen. They too loud. They don't want to be quiet. But at the end of the day, we don't have to sit up here and take this tongue lashing from these women. You may love them, but at a certain point, you got to establish some boundaries and make people respect you. There's got to be some sort of consequences, some sort of pushback. When people start assassinating your character and generally speaking, black men just assassinate. We wouldn't tolerate it from a white man. We wouldn't tolerate it from a white woman. We're not going to tolerate it from black women. You're not going to destroy our reputation and the reputation of our young sons. The minute they grow up and they reach the age of maturity and adulthood, they're a black man, so they inherit all that negative stereotype. That's not cool. Any man who considers himself a halfway decent father is going to begin to push back on these loudmouth, negative Nancy type, negative Keishas that keep talking reckless about black men, because you're destroying our reputation, our ability to attain wealth, status in this society, our ability to protect our legacy. It all depends on our reputation. That's key. That's crucial. So you got to push back.